So glad to be with you all. And yeah, so, Michelle, you were talking about how we're separate and, writing down the 10 categories and all that stuff. And just now you were even talking about like losing the connection. So I want to throw this out real quick and then I'll kind of talk about my thoughts that were coming. And in this new world with the, Zooms and the online meetings and the things like this, one of the things that I did was I network online like I'm at a live event. And any event I ever go to, it is all about the connection. Like seriously, I'm just gonna be straight out. When I would come home from a 3-day conference, no matter what the conference was, whether it was real estate or anything, my wife would always say, "Oh, hope you had fun with all those late night parties." And I was like, "Do you know how hard it is to work an event, to work a 3-day event, to be the last one to leave the party so everybody knows you were there?" Right? They got to remember Corn, from Kansas City. And that's how those connections. So for me, it was always about connections with people, and that's where my mind went to today. And these online events, I mean, just picture some of the past Zooms. You're sitting at your desk, you're either taking notes and you're tuned in and it's really good and you're grabbing some good topics and taking notes. Also, you might be doing some things on the back end, checking some email, doing this, doing that. Man, I'm telling you what, I can sometimes have 2 or 3 screens on in my war room, and I've got the main stage going on one screen. On the other screen, I'm like chatting with people in the back room. I'm like going through the whole list of who's in the room if it will let me see. I'm clicking, I'm talking to, what's up? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in forever. And it is hard work. Like I am literally running back and forth across my war room from one computer to the next during any kind of online event. And it's fun actually. Now, I am ADHD or whatever you want to call it. My kids have all gone in and gotten diagnosed officially, and they're like, "We think you have it, Dad." And I'm like, "Well, if you all have it, I know I have it, but I kind of like my world. I like being busy. I like flying around. I don't know if I want to calm down. Maybe someday I will. I don't know. But anyway, I was just going to say from those online conferences, it's like everyone in that room is a connection. It's like in the back channel here, just talking to people and chatting and the connections that have been made. So here, I was going to throw one thing out there. Simon Sinek had that "How Great Leaders Inspire," and he does the circles. If you haven't watched it, just it's Sinek, Sinek. I'll pop it in the chat after this. But it's a YouTube thing on where he talks about the why, the how, and the what, and how people influence. And when we started talking about connection, that was the first thing I thought of. However, I'm going to add the who, right? Who is around you that you need to connect with? And yesterday, I talked about this specifically right at the end of the room when I said, consider that you are where you are supposed to be right now, no matter what your situation is, good or bad. Maybe you're supposed to be there right now. And I say that because I'll take you back, to 2015 when I lost my wife of 20 years and my business partner. All right, somebody posted it up there. Thank you so much. I lost my wife of 20 years and my business partner. And listen, I had the permission. There's not one person that would have thought bad of me if I could have just curled up on the couch and disappeared for, 6 months or a year and what that time is. And let alone, it wasn't even 30 seconds when I did the Nestea plunge on the couch one day. And I was like, this, what other thing am I going to be able to do greater than this, right? And I remember my coach brain clicking in and going, "What are you doing? This is what you've talked to people about. When kids get sick and they take them out of work, out of whatever they're focused on for a week, or it can turn into 2 weeks. With COVID, when we would lose 10 days, right?" And my coach brain kicked in and said, "You got a daughter in high school, you got one in college. You need to get up and go. You got to take care of people." And this is what Sonia would have wanted you to do. She wouldn't want you to lay here and cry over her. She would want us to live our best life. So I got to tell you guys, seriously, this connection thing for me was, if I had given up, if I would have just given myself permission to go in that realm, even for a day or two longer, I probably would have missed the smallest window of opportunity to meet Lynette, my current wife, which we're celebrating our 4-year anniversary on July 4th. And guys, it's unbelievable. Like I don't even know what I did to deserve a blessing this big. And I mean, I don't really say that to myself, but I'm just saying it is so amazing, this lifestyle that our blended families, we have 7 children between two of us, and they have blended like you would never know that these kids weren't the closest family, brothers and sisters of anyone. And we have so much fun. And I could have missed it. So the connections of considering that you are where you are, like really, like I lost a spouse. Really? Why did I get put here? Well, because I would have never met Lynette for this last chapter of my life. And I don't get Sonia back. There's nothing I can do to change that. That is really what it is, and it's life, and I can't make anything go back to anything it was. And now that I'm here, I mean, this is why that stuff happened. That was the training ground to be ready for this. So I'll leave you with this, that maybe you're supposed to be where you are because you are the Lynette for somebody, or you're supposed to find the Lynette. So when I think of connection and what's missing, there is somebody missing from your life right now, and they could be walking right past you. So I know that's getting a little deep real quick, but that's what rolled off of my thoughts today.
Oh, I'm so glad that that rolled off your thoughts because that was really powerful. You are very powerful, and connecting with you has been just an honor and a pleasure. And I absolutely look forward to you being in here every day because you brighten my heart, and you are a connector. You really are. You make a massive difference on this planet, and I'm not surprised based on who you are and your wife that your kids would show up that way. And hey, power to the ADD people. I always said to my daughter, listen, because she has ADD, I'm high functioning ADD, and that's because I trained myself to be that way. But I always said, hey, all right, your dad has his mind is a straw, right? Like a straight straw. And our minds are like those. Do you ever see those straws, Brad? The crazy straws? They were like, they're all twisty and turny. And so, like, when you drink your chocolate milk, it goes to the left, to the right. Like, it looks like a huge, I don't know, roller coaster kind of. Have you seen those?
Those are the only straws we have on planet Brad.
So I said to her, look, that's how our brain works. But look, the guy with the straws, they get there, they've got like very clear vision of this, but we get to see things that the people with the straight straw don't, because where our brain goes. And that's the beauty, because there's such creativity there. And so thank you for sharing a story about it's okay to be where you are. Connect with where you are so you have the possibility to see what's right in front of you. That it isn't always about rushing to some other place to connect with yourself or to connect with another person. Sometimes it's just connecting and accepting and embracing where we are so that we can own that. And sometimes it takes, letting go of some resistance and some attachment, which we can talk about. And I'm sure someone will on this stage. So with that, what I'm going to do is say, stick around, Coach.